Districts, I guess.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna do it again in here, sure.
Yeah, unless you want to be, political. Yeah.
Well, we're already doing Thomas, there's no like 6 times a day. No.
I must have heard my person when I was at your house.
I hear all.
Because it was so loose.
Oh,
So loose.
well, I finally had it today.
I can't burn on anything for now.
Because every time I answer and say hello, then that you just go
Only my
quiet.
friend would treat me.
So this time I just click the button, but I didn't say anything. And I actually I'm gonna ask what you just said, she's for him, it's on. So that's here, and I said, no, this is here, and I checked on my phone, this is, oh, this is, oh, you should go, I was number up right away. I said, please do.
Yeah, and I was home with it, and maybe that's why.
Don't tell her I said that. See me run down her.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, if I just answer the phone, don't answer, click it, and then just walk away from it, doesn't it tell them so they can't call someone else? Because I haven't done that.
So ask me tonight. We can't be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. How are you? Good.
On my old reports, I used to spell them out.
Well, somebody said once he calls them, then they know that there's someone there, and just keep calling back.
That's why.
But this number is not.
Yeah, sometimes that's good. Let alone for
You can't say why you're calling.
Make one list out there.
You're still in my room. You're still cleaning in that room.
Sometimes it'll say telemarketer.
Yes.
This one's like.
I put a new battery in it, I did that 4 years ago. I have it on my and it has a big sensor on it.
And he's like the first contact with it's in the kitchen, don't even have a cell phone ever. And this was things I learned, once you got a lens out of it, it's like,
Calling the City of Gold Bar Council meeting for Tuesday, March the 5th. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to note that we have 3 council members here tonight. David Martin, as she noted earlier, is out. I think she's in Louisiana today and will be out for a while. I'll entertain a motion to excuse her absence.
I'll make a motion to excuse Amy's absence.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, Lee seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we will continue on. We have the agenda here. On the things, pretty straightforward tonight, so if there's no changes or requests, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I so moved.
I'll second.
And any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, I don't have a mayor's report tonight. Staff, any report? Denise?
No report.
John?
Getting close on the shoreline master plan. I just got an email today. The college has got a few other things they need to do, then I'll be doing a seat on it. And then it'll be advertised for 30 days or 60 days, I forget which, and it'll be coming to the council And then after the council approves it, then it's gotta go back to ecology for their further final review, and then it'll be adopted, so it's just a long, drawn-out process. And as far as the well floor maintenance, we finally got a contract that had the language that needed to be put in from, is that AWC?
Yeah, my insurance.
Yeah, AWC, they wanted some language put in it. And I've got that sent out for signature, and then we'll be starting that project. That's all.
Roger Casey.
Just a couple things, Deputy Ross ended up missing a week of work after tussling with that guy out here on the roadway. The citizen stopped helping, never has come forward, which is fine. I'm not trying to make him do that. We're just happy that he stopped to help. And the others, last time we discussed the gentleman, the Boffle gentleman that was building the RV park down here, and I think it was that night or the following morning that the last subject that we know of that was in there moved out of the RVs. So now we just have to watch and try to keep a lid on it, make sure we don't have people moving back in. But I think we've got that one pretty well sorted.
Good job. Okay, we'll start with council.
I have a question for
Yeah.
Casey. So I was going through the charts you have in here, and I noticed that traffic calls for this year are down from last year. And I was wondering if, and I actually kind of like that myself, but I was wondering if that's by design. I mean, because obviously you have other things like property crime that's up, and you have, and I consider that to be a more important issue to take care of. So I guess I'd like some comments to that effect.
Yeah, let me look at the numbers really fast so that I'm not being inaccurate here. And,
I got an answer for you.
so that, yeah, we didn't have TRF on the copy I have here. So we have, T stands for traffic stops. So those are, they are down a bit. Some of that is, frankly, they're down countywide. And some of that is just, frankly, the speeding is reduced.
Okay.
TRF's on there.
Yeah.
Plug it down.
Oh, yep, it is, I'm sorry. I did miss that. All the other traffic calls are, either, some of the TRFs are a traffic emphasis, but most of the other traffic calls are 911 complaints that are coming in. And as you see, when those are down as well, that kind of backs up the idea that the traffic enforcement that they've been doing countywide with the motors unit and then the traffic enforcement with the cars, it is having an impact on the problem that we're having. And so it's really not a matter of trying to focus on other things, it's more that we just haven't having that big a problem.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Sergeant Casey? We'll start council comments. Ken, start with you.
I really don't have anything to do.
Okay, Bob?
No comments.
Lee? Okay, well, moving right through that. First, citizen comments. Any citizen wish to step up and make a comment, please do so. Okay, we'll move right along. There's what's called unfinished business now. Last week, we tabled the discussion of the fire station. I was informed we should have continued it rather than tabled it. So, and I went through Robert's Rules of Order, and everybody has a different opinion of what table means. But to make sure we cover all the bases, I'll entertain a motion to untable the fire station discussion.
Also moved that we untable the fire station discussion, since all
Okay.
that was the one that moved before it started.
Okay?
I'll second the motion.
Second, Lee. Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Okay, it's either Bob or Ken was the emphasis, so why don't you guys start?
Yeah, so I asked that we table this because Bob wasn't here and we didn't get to hear his viewpoint
Okay.
before we made our assessments. So I guess that's first off, and then we have a new council member, and so I would like to hear his viewpoint as well before we make a decision.
Okay, I don't think summarize where we last were?
If I can remember, but, so the thing is that currently, as I understand it, there's joint ownership of this property. The real estate, the piece of, the plot of land that the fire station is on is really kind of it belongs to the city. And then the fire station itself was built with a grant, and the fire department actually supervised the building of that. And so there's kind of a joint ownership there. And I think so initially there was some thought of selling this property to generate funds. I think the fire department came back, or the fire district, I should say, and made an offer to us. And they said this is, in this time, perhaps the best offer they could make. And they based it, so the issue is assessment, is really what we're boiling down to. And now how that assessment process was made, I don't really remember, but they assessed it at $40,000. But the tax assessment is much higher than that, but there's some debate about whether that's a real number as well, because it doesn't really get taxed. So the assessor can place that wherever he wants to. And so, to date, I believe that, and so we can negotiate this with the fire district, as I understand from Mayor Beavers and from what I've read, is that we have that option to negotiate this between two public entities, and so we can freely do that. Have I missed something, Mayor?
No, I think you covered pretty well. Bob, do you want to throw some more details in before Lee replies?
Well, Ken did an awful good job there.
Okay.
And I think he hit on the money point. I think he's sticking out more than anything else. And I'm not sure if that's appropriate to discuss here or later or what, but you know, the offer of 40K is what presumably the thing was appraised at in 2004 and 2005 when they matched. So the appraisal thing is really crazy. And I think I heard some comments early on about it was a public building, they don't get taxes, so they didn't pay that much attention to what was going on to the computer. And so these things artificially were high. But that's just, for me, that's hearsay, because I just don't know. But looking at the record, they sure have been all over the place. Most of them.
So I would like to add my personal comment. So as I looked at this initially, I wasn't necessarily in favor of this one, but I decided after listening to the fire district that having single ownership of this property, and some of the citizens I represent also told me the same thing, having single ownership of this property is probably in the best interest of the citizens rather than having the shared ownership. And so that's kind of where I'm coming from at this time. Although I've had one citizen ask me to consider that we put it up for bids. But, so, now I leave that open.
Okay,
Well, the appraisal that they have here pretty well fits the scale, you know, from 2004 up till now. I mean, things went down and up and back down, and now they're gradually coming back up. I read someplace there where they wanted to lease us the building next to it for $1 a year for 30 years. And I did have some feelings on that because the state says when you transfer a piece of property from one division to another division, they must accept full value. In other words, you can't just give something away. And so I don't know if it's technically legal for them to give us back that building right next to it for 30 years for $1 a year. If that's above board and correct, then I wouldn't have any problem with going along with the offer that they've made.
I can't see the lease being, leasing the building back for $1 a year being a any problem. I see you think it should be worth more maybe. Okay, well, that's the point. The idea, I'd get your own direction of the favoritism of this and then work out some more details. And we did go through and check everything very thoroughly about the ability, checking the AG's office about doing this. And so it's a matter of looking at the final details. So how does the council wish to proceed on this?
Well, I think that that the fire district should own the building.
Okay?
And, so, like I said, if everything is legitimate, if it's okay with the state, and we're going by all the rules, I would be in favor of selling it to the fire district.
For their offer?
Well, I don't know how well off the fire district is. I don't think that they're probably any better off than we are. $40,000 to me seems like, with what they've already got invested in it, seems, don't seem to be bad.
Okay. Then what I will do, I will work up a formal response. Now that we've got the offer and direction, I'll get everything together. We have run this by the MRAC, we've run it by the Attorney General's office, and everything looks good from what I've said. Now we will do the real work and run it by our attorney for the final look-see. I will get that out next week.
So do you need you just need the recommendation of the council, or do you need a movement?
I think I've got all that I need. I don't need a motion. I've heard your direction from all of you, and I will bring something back concrete at the next council meeting. And that's about it. Do the fire district have any commentary?
No, unless you have any questions.
Any questions? I mean, you got the aces here.
Or jokers.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Ned, and I'll.
I do have
yeah.
one other question in my mind, though, because the issue came up about the caveat of long-term support. I don't know if we can add that caveat in there.
Oh, about restricted to be in the fire station?
Yeah, asking them to maintain that for some period of time if we agree to sell.
What time frame would you consider?
Well, I was, the longer, of course, the better in my mind, but somewhere between 20 and 50 years is what I was thinking. I don't know whether they're in agreement to that, so that's been discussed, really.
I'm not really sure, are you saying there'd be as a term of sale that the fire district would agree to maintain it as a fire station for a short amount of time?
Yes.
For, say, 30 years.
They'd be inclined to match it with the $1 a year thing.
Well, obviously, I think I told you before, that is our only purpose in mind, with the fire district. So I don't know any other reason why we would not want, the only thing we might do, though, I mean, who knows, 20 years down the road, we'd relocate the station for some reason. I'd hate to be tied into saying we gotta do that one if we decide we're gonna build a new one on, First Street or something. It depends on growth and call volumes and all those things. So I guess I'd hate to see us tied into something like that. We're going to provide, standards of response to all of our citizens, and so.
I think that my concern really is keeping you inside the city limits.
Yeah, doesn't that have an impact on homeowners insurance?
Well, homeowner insurance has the impact of travel distance, whether in other words in the city or not. It matters whether you have a 2 mile or 2 miles of fast, 5 mile travel distance. So that's, and then it matters if you have hydrants within your location of your house and stuff. So really, they don't care where it's at as long as you have this responsibility. Usually when you have your insurance, they'll say how far away are you from the fire station, how far away are you from a fire hydrant. Those are two things they'll ask you.
That's right.
So it's really not a matter of where if it's in its limits or not.
Okay.
So I mean, I couldn't imagine, but say that we built one at 387th and Highway 2, which is technically outside the city limits, but that's, that could be possible too. So I guess we look at our response, our data, where our growth is, where our calls are, and we may say, hey, this is where we need to build a station in the future. So I'd hate to be tied into saying that's.
So we could, do do a buyback or something, or whatever, I mean, they to maintain if they sold it and built another newer fire station close by, I mean,
As long as they maintain service for our city, maybe that's the caveat we want,
okay,
maintaining
maintain
service.
equivalent service.
I think it'd be, I don't think you could, really pin the fire department down to saying, to keep it as a fire department for 30 years or 50 years. As much as you, if you want to do something like that, I think it'd be better to say if they grow and build another fire department, then it would convert back to the city. You know, the building might convert back to the city or something like that. But as far as pinning fire department down to a 30 or 40 or 50 year obligation for it to be there, it'd be almost impossible to agree with that.
Yeah, but
due for taxation and stuff.
But if they sold it and used that money to build a new superstation quarter of a mile away, I mean, obviously everybody'd go for that. So I mean, we try not to over predict what's gonna happen 30 years from now, but I'll take a look at some sort of wording about maintaining equivalent service. Somehow, we'll work that out.
Yeah. As long as they got equivalent service, so people's insurance don't go up.
Right. Agreed.
Okay. Sound okay, you guys?
Yeah, that's what we're here for, service.
Okay, well, then I will work something up. Next time I'll have a fairly detailed presentation, and we'll go from there. All right, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Now we're doing the first reading of the penalty ordinance. We introduced it last time. You guys got copies of it. Okay, this was the general penalty. What we've done is gone through this potpourri of penalties. If you don't get a business license, we throw you in jail, for example. And some of them tend to be a little harsh for the deal and expensive for the city. So what we've done, a while back, we changed the general penalty to be a civil penalty, and if you don't pay up, if you get hit again, then it goes into a misdemeanor. And this, it's $100 a day if you're doing wrong. I found in the past that people drag their feet and stuff, and they say, well, you know, next Thursday it's starting to be $90 a day. And then they decide maybe it's not that kind of thing they have to do after all. So, and what we do is $100 a day now. And we're just going to make it a civil violation across the board. There's a couple of them in here that we don't change. Let's see, here's all the ones we are changing. Here's the ones we're repealing because they were just totally different and were too broad. Here's some that we've got a few extra stipulations due to their uniqueness. And I didn't put it down what codes were not affected. There were like 2 or 3 codes that were not affected because they're basically state mandated rules. And you've had this over the weekend to look at, so any comments are on that?
I don't have any comments on it. I've had this for quite a few days, and I've looked through it and over it and up and down, and I like it the way it is.
Okay, well, you think Dave Casey, he's the one who wrote the original penalty and cleared that up. And did it for the animal, the animal ordinance. And so, we just basically taken what he did, used it over and over.
So, I'm not objecting to this,
Okay.
I like it, but I do have a question kind of in my mind. I know how we handle that with regard to certifying for organic operation, but here you have business licenses, so if people choose not to renew their business license, you have in here, they're gonna fine them $100. How do you, they have to do this in advance? Is that, I mean?
Well, we know what the businesses are,
Right.
and every year you have to update your you have to renew your business license to the state.
Should they choose to remain in business?
Should they choose to remain in business? We had one here, the recycle guy down by McDaniels Park decided he wasn't gonna be in business there, so he did not renew.
And so that's my question.
Yes.
It's not, it's the process. It
Oh,
has
yeah.
nothing to do with the fine.
Yeah.
I'm not disputing the fine, I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
asking, what is the process now for choosing not to renew? It must be done in advance of when it's due, otherwise you're gonna be fining.
Like I said, I don't play fearless fontic, with this. In this case, I saw he had not gotten a business license, so I went and talked to him. And he said he was closing up, so I said, okay, you don't need to get one. And I didn't say we're gonna find him right now. And if we find someone, we found a couple when we were doing this that didn't get business licenses, and rather than rush out and try to find, of course, that time we were thrown into jail. We talked to them, and they said, oh, we got our business license. I said, no, that's your base license. Every year you have to renew this. And a couple of them said, oh, I didn't know that. So anyway, they got their license. So we try to bring them into compliance is the first step. And then if they are reticent, then we move toward the enforcement.
Well, isn't there a set time there, like if your business license expires on December 31st, and you must renew it by January 15th, or?
I'm not sure what the exact rule is. We try to get them to renew it before January 31st.
Yes, it was due, I renewed mine I did it online on the internet because I had set it aside and forgotten about it until the day that it was due, and so there's a due date there, which I believe was January 1st. December 31st, I believe it was, and if you went beyond that, then you're subject to.
So there's no grace period there?
There's no grace period. And that's my point, and I believe that, then, that being the case, we should have a policy that says if you choose not to renew your license, that they should give us advance notice. That's how we work in the organic field. I mean, I rescinded my organic certificate, and in order to do that, I had to tell them 6 months or a year in advance that I intended to do
Who was
that.
the state?
The USDA.
USDA.
Actually, it's the state, yeah.
Yeah, well, we first time had a bit of a learning experience. You had something to say?
Well, people have gone onto the website and gone through the state and canceled their license, and then they actually send me something that says this person has voided their business license, so they're no longer going to be in business. And there are people that have been delinquent, and I believe the state has a late penalty that they automatically tack on.
Right.
It's not gonna be the same as ours. So if we go out and we know you don't have a business license, say the recycling guy, couple months from now is continuing to do business,
Yeah.
and then that's where we get into that fining period.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a lot of these, I don't know about that one in particular, we've set them aside as civil infractions when we actually write a ticket.
Mhm.
And in Washington State, a ticket for operating a business without a license, that's not an exception to misdemeanor apprentice rule. So before we can actually write the ticket, we have to be able to go out and verify that, yep, they're operating a business right now, they don't have a license. And so we wouldn't be able to just fine a guy for failure to renew because he forgot to tell us he packed up and left town. So we have to actually go visually see that whoever writes that ticket, issues that, has to actually see that, yep, he is currently in violation right now. So I think that kind of gives that safeguard that you were talking about there.
Okay.
All right, then if there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion to read the penalty ordinance, make a first reading of the penalty ordinance.
I'll make a motion that we, is it accept or just do the first reading of the City of Gold Bar ordinance. An ordinance of the City of Gold Bar, Washington, repealing and reenacting multiple GBMC sections related to the penalty for code violations, providing for severity and establishing an effective date. Since I didn't see a number on there.
Okay, so we'll have the number next time. You have a second?
I'll second the motion for the first reading.
Okay, and any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, then I'll make the first reading. City of Gold Bar ordinance, first reading, an ordinance of the City of Gold Bar, Washington, repealing and reenacting multiple Gold Bar Municipal Code sections related to the penalty for code violations, providing for severability and establishing an effective date. Thank you. I think this will be 641. And the next one is the hearing examiner ordinance, the same situation. We've been looking at this for a while.
Well, shall we move to, so we can get a discussion going?
If you wish, make a motion for
I'm gonna
first
make a
reading.
motion for the first reading for an ordinance by the City of Gold Bar, Washington, repealing chapter 2.20 and adding chapter 2.26 to Gold Bar Municipal Code. And I think all of this is actually to go to the hearing examiner
Yes.
system. We
Okay,
don't
you
have
have a
that.
second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Oh, wait, okay, now we have discussion. Sorry about that. Okay, now we're ready for discussion.
How come we don't say hearing examiner in the title?
Uh,
Or is that not necessary?
Let me see. I don't know why not. Yeah, you're right. It should, makes it hard to read, doesn't it? So,
Which is stealth.
I don't remember what the, see if we can find the one we had last time. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, hearing examiner, that's the title of it, okay. And, I'll have to, okay, I'll add hearing examiner to that.
Thank you.
I'll add that to the, at chapter 2.26, hearing examiner. And 220 was the planning commission. Okay, I'll insert those into the reading, and in fact,
Chapter 2.20 for the planning commission?
Yes.
I think chapter 2.26 for the hearing examiner. I don't know how that's supposed to be, I'm just asking a question.
Well, actually, in the Sultan version, what's the chapter 2.26, hearing examiner? I tell you what, let me go to the internet right fast and see what it says, and we will get that corrected. Let's get this done right fast. I'll pull up the, anything now. Okay, the chapters read like this. And chapter
You
2,
just
going
put
to
the-
planning commission.
Put the dash in there, and then,
Put the dash in there, okay, I'll put the dash in there, and the same thing, that's what planning, that's what, okay. So, let me kill this little one. Go back to, learn how to use this thing someday. Dash. And. Okay. Now, I guess we'll need a comma after that. Okay, looks good. I'm sure the attorney will correct my commas. Okay, so that's the change title, more clear. Anything about the content of what we're doing? All right, then, there's no further, I'll add one thing, we talked about the planning commission go away and talked about, and Franklin talked about what the planning commission does and something. When we did the resolution, when we didn't have a quorum for the planning commission, when we did the resolution, we talked about planning functions would go to an ad hoc committee. And I still don't see, there's still, that's something we can do at any time for any reason. So that gives us the thing to do to work on these upcoming things at the planning commission.
right. That was the question I had last time, was whether we could have both.
Yeah.
And there's no reason not to, but as you say, an ad hoc committee is probably appropriate for how we would utilize it.
Yeah, because the term, the planning commission, I think 4 years or something, I forgot what it was, but it was a long haul.
We won't be utilizing them in the same way as before.
Yep. So, okay. If no more discussion, all those in favor for the reading? Any opposed? Okay, first reading. An ordinance by the city of Gold Bar, Washington, repealing chapter 220, Planning Commission, and adding chapter 226, Hearing Examiner of the Gold Bar Municipal Code. Okay, next week I'll run this through for final proof by the attorneys. We do this in the same. Okay. And I'll have the finished one ready to go. Okay, excuse me for a moment here. Let me get back to work. We talked about bringing Sherry Daughtery in while Denise was out, and council approved that. We ran into some little bit of problems. Sherry is still on a disability and training session with L&I, and we were going to go to a temp agency to do it. But if she gets a job with a temp agency, that kills her L&I because it's a job. So she was unable to do that, and we looked at some other ways to bring her in under L&I rules, and it didn't seem to be any. There was some discussion about that, but it was pretty flaky. So what we're going to do is we'll simply have City Hall closed at times due to this will be on the doors. I'm going to be unavailable Monday and Tuesday, March 11 and 12, and so it'll be closed. Wednesday, March 13 and out, I'll be here, and we'll be open 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. a couple of days a week. Lisa will be here, city clerk, who's working with us, and Harry will be here. And
Harry can take money, so Harry's gonna be here 2 days the first week and 2 days the following week, and he can take money, and I will come in every night and post payments.
on her way back from the training, she'll come in. When he's not here, we'll take the money and put it in envelopes and stuff like this, and write hand receipts. And then Denise can make sure we didn't do anything too bad. So anyway, so that's about it.
Anticipated time in the
What?
evenings, Denise's time in the evenings, how much, you anticipate like 2 hours?
I was just gonna do it on my time.
Okay.
Or compensatory
So
time.
just when I get in from the training, I'll just come here and,
I didn't want you to spend it.
She's tough. Okay, so anyway, so that'll be on the doors, and we will put this up maybe tomorrow we will.
It'll be on the billing, and I've already put it up on the website, that if, for 911, or for emergencies, people can contact 911. For lesser things, they can contact Joe Beavers and his phone number. So I've already posted that on the website, that there would be sporadic openings to City Hall during those 2 weeks. And I've talked to people that have come in, and I've let them know that those, I'll be gone during those 2 weeks.
So I have no objection to you being paid for the time you spent here. The reason I asked this question is, I get it. I wouldn't have the expectation that you'd come for more than a couple hours a night.
Well, we do have a time set there for, I mean, a phone number. Isn't there a phone number for somebody to call in case they need to get in touch with
City, yeah.
the city or with John or,
Yeah, we'll put your phone number on it, Lee.
yeah.
I will also change the voice recording for City Hall so that it'll reflect the number that they can reach, which will be Joe's cell phone
Yeah.
number.
In case you have a water leak or something somewhere.
Yep.
Okay, that takes care of that, and now we had a council applicant, and you got his letter, I'll put it up here. He's here. Oh, there it is. We ran into maybe a little bit of a problem. Dylan Linda, he'll stand up and say hi. He applied, and would have been a great applicant. Turns out, I asked him, you have to be a voting resident for 1 year, and he said, sure, yeah, I've been here 2 years. Well, it turns out he lived in May Creek Tracts, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's county, not city. And unfortunately, that disqualifies him. So I told him again, come back next year. So are you gonna make some comments or anything, Dylan?
The only thing I'd like to say is, and next year, I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to serve on the council and being able to serve my city, because I really do love the city, and I think I could have some good ideas and, good perspective, help the city out.
In the meantime, we can put you on an ad hoc committee or two.
All right.
Because we've got a couple of projects that need to be started work, and we do need some hustle to make it happen.
All right.
So, thank you very much for applying. Sorry it didn't work out.
Okay.
And I checked with the MRSC, and they said, yep, that's right. Okay, you had copies of the minutes for February the 19th and February 26th. Anybody find any problems with them? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for February 19th and February 26th.
I so move that we approve the minutes for February 19th, 2013, and the minutes for February 26th, 2013.
And do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ken?
Yeah. So I'll make a motion that we accept for approval payroll vouchers 20196 through 20209 for a total of $17,275.36. And the claims vouchers 20210 through 20223 for a total of $9,207.67. And a grant, coming to a grand total of $26,483.03.
Go second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Okay, so the only discussion I have, I left my notes at home, but John had agreed to pursue a couple of these, and so John, do you have any new insight to those?
So the one that I'm gonna pursue is space engineering,
Right.
and I just suggest we hold that off for 2 weeks anyway.
for 2 weeks, and that voucher number was,
Voucher number was 20218 for $852.50. Now, why are we holding pace up?
Because I'm not quite sure why we were billed what we were billed.
For what they were working on, because they were
Yes.
working on the water.
Yeah,
Usually what takes place when Pace Engineering builds us, before they bill us, we have communications, so I know exactly what's going on. And I wasn't aware that this $852.50
yeah.
was staring us in the face.
And some of the questions that came up in the finance committee is why isn't that covered in warranty?
Because it was completely, it had nothing to do with the warranty. So before we pay it, I want to make sure that it's legitimate, which I'm sure it is, but I want to have a breakdown of what they did for that 5.5 hours.
And the other issue was the strobe light, and that's resolved, we're gonna pay that, as I understand it.
Yeah, I think Jay saw, and he thought it was a light bulb for $80.
Well, it was a huge,
Pardon?
it was a huge price for a bulb. Right.
Actually, just the bulb is $60. If you can find it. That's how old this stuff we have is. So we just bought a new unit for $20.
Okay.
So do we need a motion for that,
Yeah, we're gonna have to amend the motion to hold, check number 20218 for Base Engineers for $852.50.
So we cancel the previous motion?
That's-
No, we amended,
We amended,
I think.
yeah, why don't you go ahead and amend the motion while I try to do some math
Your
here.
number was,
20218,
For 800,
hang on, 20218, Pace Engineers for $852.50. And do you wanna hold it until next session, or do you wanna hold it until John, clears it? You wanna approve it pending John's, clearance?
that's what I was going to initially do, but,
That'd be fine. Usually what takes place, this time I got one sheet of paper and it didn't tell me a lot. And like I said, usually I know what we're going to be billed for. In addition to that one piece of paper, there's kind of like an itemized list of what tasks we're performing. And I'm not quite so sure what those tasks were.
so that was how I hesitated as I made this, because I was wondering if I could add that caveat pending John's approval. Well, it wasn't in the motion.
You're the council, you can add whatever caveat you want to, you can cancel gravity in Loring Park.
Okay, so I will amend my original motion to add the statement pending John's review and approval of that expenditure. Voucher 20218 for a total of $852.50.
Second,
I'll second that.
okay, any further discussion? Yes, ma'am?
Yeah, being I'm on the finance committee, when we go through the warrants, usually John, if it's anything to do with John, he has signed it off. And like petrol lately, we have them signing off, but we haven't had that before, so it's a real. But on this particular item, when John didn't sign off, should it not have gone to Harry? When Harry had it, should he not have gone to?
Harry and I talked about that, and he wasn't really sure on how that went. I told him anything that has to do with engineering firms and public works work, make sure that I get it so I can,
Yes.
he just wasn't aware of that.
Okay.
Short answer to your question is yes.
Yes.
And I talked to Harry
Yeah.
previous about one of the other warrants about that.
Yes, and that's been a great asset as far as we're concerned.
Okay. Okay. guess there's no further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Thank you very much. And, okay, now they gotta sign this.
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Well, no, we have citizen comments still to go. Trying to set a new world's record. Okay, last citizen comments. Do any citizens wish to step up and make a comment? Yes, sir, step up. We appreciate your name. And speak loudly so we can capture you in the magic machine.
My name's Earl Meyer. I live over on Lund Avenue, and John knows the problem I'm having. In front of my house, on you guys, it's a gravel road. You guys come up and fix it. Right in front of my driveway, there's this that blasted pothole that keeps coming back all the time. And when it rains, it fills up with water, no place to go, so it goes down my driveway. And right underneath my trailer house, which is now, I have to get re-leveled. And last Saturday, when it rained so hard, I had to go out and dig a trench across the front of the trailer house to divert the water from going under the trailer house and along the fence up by the road. I'm getting tired of it. Because every time it rains, water runs under my trailer house because it's pothole. They fill it up, fine. But the garbage trucks go 4 times a week, well, on Tuesdays in front of my house. School bus goes every day, twice a day. The UPS truck, I don't know how many times a week goes up and down there. These are big rigs.
Yeah.
They push the dirt out, the gravel out of the hole, it rains, it fills up. It has no place to go but down my driveway.
Okay.
I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of digging trenches, diverting water. I'm getting tired of water going under my trailer. Can the city do something about fixing the road, or will not have a pothole in front of my driveway?
Limited what we can do on that. We've been filling a lot of stuff. We got potholes around.
Whoa!
Don't try that again. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna drive by there. I'm gonna do this after and got crossways. We had some drainage problems a couple of places. We dug some lateral trenches to control the runoff, and it depends on the deal. John, are you familiar with that area?
Yeah, so where the big problem is it's a gravel road and it's streets. We don't have many streets. And I was talking with Joe today, you know, and this actually has to do with storm runoff. And we've started the storm drainage fee. So Richard and I, this week, will probably take a closer look at that and come up with some ideas on what we can do to help alleviate some of the problem. And then I gotta check with her and see what the funds are like in the storm drainage. And I'll be talking to Joe on some fixes or, potential fixes.
Yeah, typically most of the problems with storm runoff drainage, Goldbar gets fixed by digging a hole full of rocks. And we've done that a couple of times. And so that we need to take a look at that a little bit. But I don't know what the answer is, but yeah, we will, like I said, we had the stormwater fund, which is what that was set up for, was the normal maintenance plus fixing the places that have runoff.
Well, no, they haul gravel up and fill the hole and put more.
Yeah.
It seems like the road's getting higher and higher in front of my house every time they do this, because where my mailbox is at was the height of what the road was at one time, and now it's about that much higher than the front of the mailbox is.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, we've had this place for 25 years, and it's gradually the road just building up higher all the time, but that,
yeah,
I mean, both ends of Lynn Avenue, John, you know what they're like, you know.
we have to,
But if this pothole was 8 feet farther down the road, it wouldn't be running down my driveway. But this pothole's right there, because they come out of Tweed Court, and then that's there, and every time, like I say, last Saturday when it rained so hard, I come home and there was just a river running down my driveway. I was out there for almost 45 minutes digging trenches to divert the water to keep it from going underneath my trailer.
okay. we can take a look at that and see what we can do on it.
Cause it's out of adjustment because my front door's not working right, and this trailer's, you know, I gotta get somebody in there now to re-level my trailer up. Because it's just, this winter, all the rain is just, pours all
Yeah, we
over.
had a couple of heavy rains
Yeah,
around
I go,
here.
come down driving, I go down in my trailer unless I dig it. I've got a trench dug right now, across the front of the trailer, it angles over, and the property next to me was that big hole, you know, John. And then basically, that's where, I'm trying to divert it over into that hole to keep it from going underneath my trailer.
Okay, well, like I said, we fixed a couple by digging, something you did.
Yeah.
And so, we'll take a look at that, and hopefully in a week or so.
Oh, I
we'll
appreciate it,
have an
because I was
answer.
kinda, I had the trailer re-leveled 3 years ago. And that was the first time I had it re-leveled in, well, my wife and I have had the place for 25 years. And that's the first time it's been re-leveled since we lived there. And now, 3 years later, it's all out of tilt again, because right in front of, about so far back from the front of the trailer is concrete runs underneath, there's blocks on, and the water's running right underneath, get underneath that concrete, runner, and it's just settling. And I'm throwing good money after bad, having to turn around and have it re-leveled again.
We'll call you when we come out there, and you come out with us and poke around, and maybe I'll come up with a solution.
Okay, appreciate it, John.
Thank you very much. Any other citizen comments? Going once,
This one.
twice, 3 times.
Just this one, boss.
Yes.
Just this one. Just answering your question on the traffic deal, I misstated, I misread my own report here, that traffic complaints are up. So you pointed that out to me, thanks, we'll look at it and try to figure out how to fix that. So they're just up just for this month, it's not a long-term trend, but for this month, they're way up, so.
Traffic offenses?
Traffic complaints, people calling 911 about traffic problems has come up this month, so I'll look and see why.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that's a predictor of what you guys do the next month.
It is.
Okay. All right. I think you had a.
Motion still stands.
Oh, you made one?
I did.
Okay, do we have a second to adjourn?
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
But if you